Congressman Elijah Cummings is the ranking Democrat on the Government Reform and Oversight Committee, and he joins us this morning. Nice to see you, sir. Thanks for being with us. Certainly appreciate it.
Being with you.
Thank you. The Senate passed that extended tax cuts for individuals, $100,000, $250,000. If you're talking about families, they would allow the upper limits to expire. Do you think that this has a chance at all in the House?
I think it's going to be very difficult. Speaker Boehner has pretty much already said that it's dead on arrival. And I think that's very, very unfortunate, because basically what that's going to do is it's going to, basically what the Republicans are doing is holding hostage the tax cut for the middle class, and basically going to place another $2,200 burden on people who are already struggling, the people who I just watched going to work as I was on my way to the studio. So, you know, unfortunately, we're in a place in Washington where right now where it seems like very little is going to be done. And keep in mind, Soledad, that we only have, once we get past this week, we have less than 10 days, I think it is, up until the election. That is legislative days. So
yeah,
not very much is going to get done.
That's correct. So House Majority Whip Kevin McCarthy said this: you're going to have 89 current members, he's a Republican, I should add, from California. You're going to have 89 current members of the Democratic Party who voted to extend the tax cuts the last time, that was 2010, are going to have to answer why they're flip-flopping with a bad economy. Do you think that that's going to be a problem? I mean, if you voted to extend it back in 2010 and now...
No, because basically... we were, as far as I'm concerned, we were held hostage back then too. I think, people are, they can see through this. I know my constituents do. You hear the Republicans say that they don't want to tax the job creators. I have seen absolutely no proof that the tax policy of the president, by the way, which is now passed the Senate, is hurting anything other than that would hurt job creators. As a matter of fact, in my committee, what we've seen over and over again is 29 hearings about regulations. So if I have not seen that the taxes on the rich, failing to extend tax cuts on the rich is making things any better for job creators. And then they turn around and say, well, we don't want a situation where there are regulations. And so we've got a difficult situation here in Congress. I've got a feeling that a lot of things will not be resolved.
I have a feeling that your feeling is right. That's how my feeling is going. Let me ask a question of Nan Hayworth, a congresswoman from New York, and she's on the panel today, so I'm going to take a moment, Congressman, if you will. He says Republicans holding the middle class hostage. And when you look at the polls actually show that by a significant margin, people feel that it's okay to let those tax cuts expire on the people who are in the higher tax brackets and protect the middle class, if you look at it from $200,000 down or $250,000 down, depending if you're talking about individual or family.
Well, Soledad, everything we're doing in the House Majority, and we do it with the votes, we want to have as many votes from Democratic colleagues as possible. John Boehner especially is a very ecumenical speaker. But everything we're doing is aimed at helping all of the hardworking Americans who desperately need an economy that works. The middle class, of course, prominently among them. It does not help our economy. It doesn't help jobs to take more from our citizens at a time when we need every dollar that can remain in the pockets of the people who work and save and invest and contribute to their communities. We need all those dollars to stay there. Government takes. The tax dollars that government demands from us are not the government's property, and I think that message tends to be conveyed. The tax breaks are going to cost us. No, it costs us to take funding from taxpayers in the form of taxes. The federal government needs to restrain its own budget in the way our families do, in the way middle-class families have to right now. The stimulus resulted in an increase in the number of jobless Americans, unemployed, underemployed. The number of Americans in poverty has increased. It's at record levels now.
Not because of the stimulus, certainly, but because of the economic crash and the decline. But let me ask one last question of Congressman Cummings before I let him go. How would you describe how Mitt Romney's trip has gone? Started in London, made its way through Israel, now he's in Poland. He's gotten some flack from the press. A moment ago, we showed a little bit of shouting between his press guy.
I would summarize it so that I would summarize it not ready for prime time. Clearly, the comment in England about the Olympics, you would think that someone who dealt with the Olympics here in the United States would be much more sensitive with regard to those kind of issues. And you go into a country and then criticize the organizers. And then I found the Palestinian comment to be quite offensive, and I could understand the feelings of the Palestinians. And now this fellow here in Poland making the comment that he made, you know, but the one thing that we're forgetting, you've got a very frustrated press corps that have only had 3 questions answered by Mr. Romney during this trip. And it's basically consistent Romney stuff.
It'll be interesting to see if the